Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to be giving you a lovely talk about why you should definitely move your project to Optimism. So just because everyone looks a little bit dead and sad right now, I know it's raining outside, but we can be alive. So I just want to figure out how many of you are hacking this weekend? That's a good number of you. How many of you work full-time in crypto? Even more of you, okay. And then how many of you have struggled to get support on chains that you've deployed on? Wow. All right, lots of top-notch support. All right, so there are so many opportunities on Optimism to get what you need to make sure that your project does the absolute best. So today we're going to be going over just some of the amazing things we can do for you on Optimism and help you get, actually deployed. There is a QR code at the end with all the information, so I got you. Right, so first things first is the vibes. Optimism's vibes are unmatched. Anyone who's been in our Discord or at any of our events, you know the vibes are just immaculate. We have retro PGF, so we retroactively fund public goods, which is, just think about that for a second. So we've funded the Solidity team, the Viper team, Web3.js, Ethers.js. We've given away $1 million so far in retro PGF, and we have another round coming out a little bit later this year, maybe next year, depending, timelines are a bit sticky on these things. So yeah, we fund public goods, and you should definitely be supporting that. So if you deploy your app on Optimism, a portion of the fees that your users pay when using the app actually goes towards funding public goods. So your dApp doesn't even need to be a public good to help the ecosystem generally grow. We also strongly believe in collaboration. I know a lot of chains will make you fight to the death with other projects on the chain for resources and you want to get an NFT quest, fight with the other chains. We're not like that at all. We will help you. We will support you. You will not have to fight anyone to get help. And yeah, collaboration beats competition every single time. We also are on our path to decentralizing. We've actually started this. So we've launched our token house governance and our two-house governance system, which is actually one of the largest experiments in governments, in a hot minute. Yeah, so the token house is fantastic and a completely open process that anyone can go join. And it is obviously a token-based governance system, but we'll get more into that a little bit later. So as a crypto project, it can be really hard to get your project in front of users, right? So we have some amazing opportunities for your dApp to get discovered. So we run Twitter Spaces quite regularly. We have the OP Radio, which is a Twitter space that happens weekly. We have demo days, which happen bi-weekly, where you can come and demo your dApp to users. It also helps if you want to go through the governance process to demo it so that the delegates have a space to ask you questions. And the delegates love to ask you questions, so just be warned, they will ask you questions. And that happens once every 2 weeks, and it's in our Discord, and it's open for any project that has deployed to participate in, whereas the Twitter Spaces, we do a little bit more digging before we'll join you on Twitter. We also have some incredible discovery things. So we have quests, which are the most adorable little NFTs you've ever seen in your life. If you haven't checked out our quest program, definitely go look at it. They are very cute. And you can actually, as a project, apply to join our quest program. We haven't started accepting new projects yet, but we will start. So definitely go and apply for that so you can get on that wait list. And they're really, really cute. I cannot emphasize how cute they are. I wish I put a photo up. We also have a token list, obviously, for our gateway and our bridging that you can go get your token listed on, as well as our website listing for all of the apps in our ecosystem, which is a really nice way to get discovered. So how many of you have a full-time QA tester or do QA testing at all? Yeah, I see you. So we have the most fantastic ambassador program group who are just have such an insane energy. So if you wanted to get your project to have a real QA testing process, you can come and offer some small incentives to our ambassadors, and they will do a full bug hunt, clicking every button of your dApp. So, and they've done this before for other projects, and it's been amazing. So they give you a full list of bugs that they found, as well as the steps to reproduce those bugs. So it's proper QA, as well as just general features that they think you're missing, because obviously they interact with lots of dApps. So they'll be oh, well, you're a wallet, why don't you have this feature? which can be really, really helpful, especially if you're in the earlier stages of being a project, to just have someone go through your dApp and click on everything. And it's not just someone, there's like 500 of them. So it's a proper QA test and a little bit of a stress test if you haven't actually launched to a lot of people yet. We also have grassroots community content. So if you want some memes made about your project, you want a little bit of hype, you want some articles, maybe some tutorials on how to do it, you can definitely come to our community and have that done. For example, with the quests, which I was talking about earlier, a whole bunch of our community members just started making tutorials about how to use these apps because you kind of needed to know how to use them to do the quests. So you can get like genuine grassroots content made about your project, which you can't underestimate the power of a little bit of a Twitter barrage of your project. And then, of course, we support you. We will support you with developer questions if you're struggling to deploy or you have like some unrelated question about like what to do with my Solidity bug. We have a very active community of developers as well as general users who will just help you, which is really, really nice. We also have user support. So if your users are struggling to use your app, our community loves to just dig into that shit and help out. We also, of course, have project support. So, this is everything from like figuring out how to deploy, infrastructure connections, like getting connected to other projects that you would work well with, like synergetically. I can't believe I just used that word. But yeah, so we have project support and like you will be supported, We also have incredible infrastructure. We are the most forked L2 with I think 3 forks right now, might be 4. And tons of audits from like the top auditing companies in the crypto space. So, it's like we've done our shit, it's secure. We also have Bedrock coming out soon, which is the next version of the optimistic infrastructure, which is amazing. I'm not going to talk too much about that because we actually have a bunch of talks happening at Devcon about it. So if you're not there, they will be online, so you can watch them live. We also have been championing the EIP 4844 process, which is going to push L2 fees down to like their theoretical lower limits, which is super exciting because obviously, fees are expensive and you don't need them to be as expensive as they are. We also have the prettiest docs you've ever seen. I'm definitely biased because they're my baby, but they're the prettiest docs. Like, go click around, you'll see what I mean. And they're great for developers. They're also great for users. They also have like, if you want to deploy, if you want to get a proposal through our governance process, all the information you'll need is there. How to write a proposal, where to post your proposal, how to get feedback, all that kind of stuff is in the docs. It's really, really good. We also have a lot of content for like absolute beginners. If you've never written a smart contract before, we also have tutorials for you. If you've written lots of smart contracts and need like very sophisticated, like how to integrate with the bridge smart contracts directly, like there's also tutorials for you. So we really cover everyone. And just because I really do love them, these are our docs. Look how beautiful they are, guys. Look at that, look at that. They cover everything. There's quick start, how it works. Doc security, we're very honest and open with our security settings, like our security models. Governance, contributing, it's amazing, it's all there, go check it out. Then finally, of course, well, it's not finally, but of course, everyone wants a little OP in their bag. So you can get OP through 2 methods. One is through our governance grants, which I've been speaking about, which is a completely open and transparent process. So you can go and apply. It's completely like open. And again, you can go on our docs for the process of how to apply, templates, all that kind of stuff. It's good for small to medium-sized grants. You can get a larger grant, but then you're really gonna have to like justify it. Very good if you've got like milestone-based grants and you want to iterate on your grant. Again, in the docs is the whole process that you can go check out. We also have a partnership grant where you can get OP, but that's a private process, so you can apply, but it's not going to be like publicly listed. You're not going to be able to look at previous proposals for inspiration or anything like that. Yeah. And this is how you submit, again, the docs, guys. I really do love them. So this is how you submit a proposal. Like all the steps are there, the templates, the links, everything you need to actually do the thing. So actually last but not least is getting connected. So as I said earlier, we really, really, really believe that collaboration beats competition every single time. And as such, like if you want to get connected to a centralized exchange or an infrastructure provider or a wallet or an on-ramp or an audit firm, we like very much, if we have a connection with them and they want to talk to you, we will definitely try and facilitate that relationship because we think it's really important, crypto and blockchain is built on collaboration. And that's where the real innovation happens, when you're actually able to like innovate with people without like weird competition vibes going on. So we really, really try and encourage that and like we've done a lot to make it easy for you. And then of course, what is a talk without a little bit of alpha? So we have actually a very exclusive partnership server that will be coming out in the coming months, T's and C's apply, that you definitely want to get on the wait list to get into, where we will make connecting between projects even easier and much more like automatic and facilitated. So you should definitely go check that out because that is going to be amazing. I have also left a lot of time for questions because I know I covered a lot very quickly. This is the QR code you're gonna wanna scan to get all this information. So definitely hit that up. But yeah, so what's up, guys? Who's building? Who wants help? Love you, thank you. No one wants to apply for free money. Wow, impressive. Y'all must be doing really well in this bear market. Yeah. Yeah, you totally can apply for a grant. So you don't need to have like, you can apply for a grant, a governance grant before your project's even finished. So, you know, you can apply for a grant, you can use the grant for developer costs, obviously, because like you guys need to eat. And also for things like, you know, like user grants. And like if you want to do like an airdrop to your users or like a retroactive reward to your users for having used your application, you can totally do that. You just obviously need to lay it out in your grant application about like what you're going to use it for and make it very clear so that the delegates understand what you're doing. But you can totally do that, 100%. Also, shout out, thanks for building such cool tools. Yeah. That is a great question. So the question was, how do we determine who gets the retroactive public goods funding, right? So the way this works right now is anyone in the community can nominate a project, right? So you could nominate a for-profit project that's not necessarily a public good, or they would nominate themselves. That's normally what happens. And then, you know, everyone else is nominating public goods. Then what we do is we select a subgroup of the community. So it's a smaller group, normally less than like 50 people. Last round, I think we used like 30 people. And then what they do is they sit and they go through all of those applications. We use a quadratic formula for voting, so they will quadratically vote on those projects and then list it out, you know, obviously from the highest to the lowest. And then we distribute the funds proportionally to how many points you got in the voting from the sub-community. So the next round will probably do something quite similar, where it's actually like the community that is voting on the projects. And we do that because obviously, you know, we're not necessarily impartial to what is and isn't a public good, so we want to leave it in the hands of the community and make sure it's like very values-aligned people, yeah. Just community members, they don't have to be token holders at all, yeah. Mm. Yeah. We do, yeah. Yeah, no, shout out Vitalik. He wrote a great article about our first retro PGF round. We also wrote an article, but obviously it wasn't as popular as his, so you'll find his first. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, Optimism really is like, it's a very wholesome community, like, especially for first-time founders or first-time projects. Like, there's a lot of support, especially for the earlier stage stuff. And the community is like very supportive. You know, if they find a bug, they'll tell you about it. They're not gonna like scream at you, which is really nice. And then also because it's an L2, like the fees are quite cheap compared to like deploying on Ethereum. So it's much cheaper then for your users to like claim the NFT, use it, that kind of stuff, yeah. We also have a decent amount of DAO tooling. So if you did want to launch like a DAO with your NFTs, It's quite easy to do that, yeah. I got you, girl. Anyone else? I don't bite, I promise. At least I won't bite you. Yeah, make sure you've scanned the QR code if you want to get all this information later. Otherwise, go check out our docs. Literally all of the information I've talked about is on our docs. Yeah. Deploy on Optimism. It's good vibes. And your project's then funding public goods, which is like, what a better flex, you know? Right? Yeah. You know, you don't have to jump. You did the jumping earlier, you're done with the jumping now. You got socks though, so you won really, you know, like. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me just go back a few slides. Okay, so if you see at the top there, we have a security page on our docs. We're actually very open and honest about our security setup. So right now we have a multi-sig that can like fast upgrade the entire network. So it's like completely centralized really. But yeah, we have, so once, so the kind of the timeline of like things that are coming is first we're rolling out Bedrock, which is like the next major upgrade to the Optimism network, which is gonna like reduce fees a little bit and really just like make the infrastructure much more robust and hardened and much more like, you know, we're not gonna need to upgrade it for a while because it's gonna be very like stable. So once that's out, it's in alpha right now. Once that's out and like on mainnet and like actually running and we've got like good data that it's like very stable, then the next step is going to be rolling out Canon, which is our fraud-proof mechanism, fault-proof mechanism. And the we're obviously going to start that on like a very whitelist, you know, no slashing mechanism as we're like testing it and figuring it out. Once we're sure that, you know, the fault-proof itself is secure and it's not like accidentally saying things are wrong or right when they're not, then we will roll it out publicly. So then anyone can like call, say like, I think there's fraud, let me like prove it. But we'll first roll that out with no slashing. So like they can call it without any repercussions for the sequencer. Then once that's stable and we know that's working right, then we'll introduce slashing and then we'll start decentralizing the sequencer. So maybe doing like, we haven't 100% chosen how we're going to decentralize the sequencer necessarily, but I think the way we're thinking about this right now is that we're going to do like some kind of sequencer auction where the rights to be the sequencer can be auctioned off. And then obviously, you know, in order to do that, we have to have 100% functional fault proofs with slashing enabled. So in order for it to be like decentralized, yeah, you kind of do need the sequencer to be decentralized because, for example, like if the entire Optimism team died tomorrow, the sequencer would go offline and that would not be great. I mean, it would run for a while, but yeah, so definitely that's a part of being like fully decentralized. We definitely need the sequencer to be decentralized, but there's this concept that we've been toying with, which is like minimum viable decentralization. So the minimum viable decentralization for Optimism would just be fault proofs. Because once you can prove fault and have a slashing, then like you don't really need, like the sequencer being decentralized is like the final step rather than like a necessary step. Yeah, great question though. Sorry? I'm Veronica, yes. Yes, I'm Veronica. Or V if you see me on Twitter. We good? Yeah, let's build it. Let's go. All right, well, I wish luck to all the hackers. Obviously, Optimism has lots of cool prizes if you're hacking on Optimism. So definitely check that out. Yeah, thanks all for coming. Love to see you.